To women, we're stronger than we look. Part 1. Shattered. Like one that on a lonesome road doth walk in fear and dread, and having once turned round walks on, and turns no more his head, because he knows a frightful fiend doth close behind him tread. Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Chapter 1. The back room of Next Chapter bookstore tended toward organized chaos. The small space held a counter, a couple of stools, shelves crammed with books. Boxes of books yet unopened were stacked along one of the short walls. Arden knew where everything was, down to the extra pens, the rolls of tape, the box cutters, the printer paper, the Sam's Club M&Ms, and all the rest. She'd worked part-time in the bookstore since she'd moved from the Columbus suburbs to the short north, with her college degree hot in her hand. Considering her major in English Lit, most expected her to go into teaching. Instead, she'd written a book. It had taken her more than a year, juggling her college, then her work schedule, and what barely passed as a social life, but she'd done it. It took months more to find an agent who'd take her and Whispers on. More months before the agent performed the miracle of selling the manuscript. Now, 2 years and 9 months after she'd sat at the keyboard and faced the first blank screen, she'd accomplished what she'd set out to do. She held on gratefully to the fact no one could ever take that away from her. Whether or not she sold a single copy, whether or not everyone who bought it or borrowed it thought it stank, she'd sold and published a book. The proof stood in stacks on the counter of the back room of Next Chapter, where, in about 5 minutes, she'd face her first event. She knew how signings and readings worked. As a bookseller, she'd helped run plenty of them. But now, instead of managing the line or ringing up sales, she'd be the one sitting at the table, signing a book with her name on the cover. Whispers by Arden Bowie. Because it made her giddy, Arden picked up a book from the stack just to look at it again. Her name on the cover, her words inside. She had friends and family coming, so she would sign at least a handful. Amazing, she thought, and after giving the cover a stroke, set it back down again. In a few minutes, she'd be the one smiling and chatting and pretending she knew what the hell she was doing. She felt a little bit sick. She'd handle it. Maybe she'd been born an introvert, but she'd taught herself to be outgoing, she reminded herself. A good thing, as she'd been taller than most of the boys her age, and gawky with it. Tall, gawky, with hair just red enough to make her feel awkward. A natural outcast, if she hadn't pushed herself. Then, when her parents hadn't come home from their date night, when they'd been 2 of the fatalities, when a 16-wheeler had skidded on icy roads, she'd been the orphan. The 14-year-old orphan who'd had to move from Brooklyn to Columbus, Ohio, and the home of an aunt and uncle and 2 cousins she barely knew. She'd been the angry, grief-soaked kid without a choice. She hadn't made it easy for them, but gave herself a break there. They certainly had given her one. They were out there now. Her Aunt Jen, Uncle Doug, her cousins, Zoe and her fiancé Boone, and Travis and his wife of 8 months, April. They'd given her back what that terrible night in February had taken away, and she'd never forgot it. She opened one of the books stacked on the counter to the dedication page. To Family, Lost and Found. She thought of her parents, hoped they'd be proud she'd done what she'd wanted and needed to do. Then closed the book. Terry, the manager and 5'2" powerhouse, stepped in. About ready? Yeah, sure. Had to be. Wanted to be. Would be. We've a nice crowd. Arden had stuck to the back room because she hadn't wanted to